So President Trump just issued one of the most explosive executive orders in modern history. Full declassification of every single UFO, alien, and extraterrestrial file that the deep state has been hiding for you for decades. Not just the files, the technology and associated files with it. I think we're about to see a revolution. But the betting markets are going absolutely insane right now, and what we're about to show you will change everything you thought you knew about government secrecy. So this isn't just about little green men, folks. This is about the biggest cover-up in human history, potentially coming to an end like now. For 70 years, shadowy bureaucrats have used your tax dollars to investigate phenomena they refuse to share with you. Military pilots have been silenced and witnesses have been discredited. Entire programs have operated in the darkness while Congress was kept in the dark. Now Trump is ripping away the veil and demanding full transparency. And if aliens exist, you're about to find out. And if the government has been lying to you about recorded technology or recovered technology, crashed vehicles, or contact with non-human intelligence, it's all going to come out. The deep state is probably in full panic mode right now as we're talking about this. So speaking of government secrecy, there's something else the establishment does not want you to know about. Breaking tonight, while Wall Street fixates on gold, silver, and headline commodities, there's a strategic metal quietly driving defense policy, military procurement, and geopolitical planning behind the scenes. It's not flashy, and most investors never talk about it. But governments and defense contractors are stockpiling it like their national security depends on it, because guess what? It does. From advanced radar systems to missile guidance technology, this metal is absolutely critical to America's military superiority. Yet most Americans have never heard of it. And while the media distracts you with conventional precious metals, the smart money is positioning in the resources that actually power our defense infrastructure. And SAGA Metals has the inside track on these strategic opportunities that Wall Street doesn't want you to discover. So don't let the establishment keep you in the dark about real strategic investments. We're going to get back to this UFO bombshell. So here's what makes this even more incredible, folks. Congresswoman Nancy Mace has been demanding exactly this disclosure for a long, long time. She wrote letters to the Pentagon, CIA, NSI, and the DNI in October, calling out the ridiculous redacted documented games. And she's been doing this since before that. But she also said secrecy breeds distrust while openness fosters understanding. And now Trump is delivering exactly what she demanded. And the prediction markets are giving us a 21% of confirming alien existence before 2027. I think that shot up way higher than what that was, because I think the market showed like 84% this morning. So that might be a little out of foes. Let's see. So from Watcher.guru, it says, just in, President Trump orders government to release classified files on aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and unidentified aerial phenomena. And I love that they use that picture of him, because he's like, yeah, it's about to come your way, folks. You know, the Bible even has UFOs in it, in Daniel. There's a lot of stuff all over the place for history. Even there's cave paintings that show UFOs, the spinning wheels in the sky, all these things. It's been around for a very, very long time. Let's see where this goes. So this breaking news just got personal. Trump is now directly calling out Obama for allegedly leaking classified alien information. And that's what triggered this. We did an alien story earlier in the week, and we talked about Obama's revelation saying that aliens were real. But now President Trump, I think, just kind of verified that. From Nick Sorter, he says, holy crap, President Trump just sent a warning to Barack Obama after Obama said aliens are real. He made a big mistake giving out classified information. But does that mean that it was true? Let's see.
I would love to have China and Russia. They've been invited. Yeah.
Something that got a lot
You
of...
need both. You need all persuasions. No discrimination.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
Oh, you guys, look at Caroline Levitt's face behind him.
The president can declassify
she's like,
anything that he wants.
like she's just smiling like, oh, he just told you guys.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
Based on what you've been told, what do you think happened to...
So him saying that Obama spoke about classified information, and he was referring to classified information, kind of confirmed it. And while he was talking, did you guys see Caroline's face in the background? She was like smiling like, oh, you know, he's doing it without doing it because he's not breaking anything. He's the main arbiter of what's even classified or not classified. But Trump's not just talking anymore. He's taking official action by directing government departments to begin the disclosure process. Keyword, disclosure. So how bad were the Epstein files if all this disclosure has to happen in war with Iran? And now they're bringing out aliens. So how bad was the Epstein files? Anyways, that was a one-off. So Popbase says Donald Trump announces he is releasing alien files. And I'm not going to read that little snippet. There is another one that should go with that. Let's see here. There it is. All right. So, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Now, the things that are connected to this could be technology, could be Velcro. The superconductor came out right after the Roswell crash. There are so many technologies that they say are attributed directly to the UFOs and the ones that we found way back when. There's a lot of stuff out there. And we've got Representative Luna and quite a few other people that are on these committees that are trying to get this information out to the American people because we've been waiting a long time. And you know what? We own the country. We own this. We need to know. But major news networks are picking this up fast, signaling the story has serious mainstream traction. You think? It's like the first time in history we're going to find out we're not alone in the universe. Now, whether they're aliens, interdimensional beings, or demons, or whatever else, because they've been referred to all three. J.D. Vance said they were interdimensional beings or demons, and a few other people said some other stuff. So, like, we don't know what it is. But these guys are read in on it. So from Wow says UFO X, UFO Twitter, Fox News a few minutes ago on aliens and the UFO files.
President Trump says he is directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and other departments to begin releasing files on space aliens and UFOs. This follows former President Obama's comments just this week.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
He said they're real. Later on social media, the former president clarified his comment, saying aliens visiting Earth is unlikely. Again, that's not the opposite of real. Senior White House correspondent
He was covering
Peter
up.
Doocy.
He knew he was in trouble.
And Harris, presidents of the United States have one-of-a-kind perspective on this subject. So when one, like Barack Obama, says something sensational like that, it is very helpful to ask another, which is what we did aboard Air Force One. Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know,
So aliens are real.
well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
That quickly went viral. So then the president announced, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. Democrats are giving the president props for that. Congressman Jared Moskowitz says, why would something not real be classified? Oh, and Senator John Fetterman adds this.
That's our point.
I mean, I think life does exist, but how it could find us or how you can explain some of those videos that, that's been released over the couple of years. So for me, now, if President Trump is going to release everything, I think that's fantastic, because I think America, and the world would deserve if there's.
This is the rare issue uniting Republicans and Democrats who all just seem to want to believe. Harris.
We want to know.
We have about 10 seconds left. Why would Obama, open this up?
Epstein.
I don't know, but it has created an intergalactic incident. We have international incidents all the time. This is an intergalactic incident, Harris, and we will be on top of it.
That's going to get clipped. I've seen your Instagram.
I want to know about the Nikola Tesla stuff that happened too. I want to know where those files are. The FBI confiscated most of his research, and he's the guy that gave us AC power. And he had all sorts of other crazy things too. So, Mr. Trump, if you're watching, please declassify or have the FBI release the documents Nikola Tesla had. But as Trump announces disclosure, eyewitnesses to historic UFO incidents are stepping forward to share their stories. Benny Johnson, our friend, the man who witnessed the first UFO incident officially archived in U.S. history, shares his story as Trump announces alien files release. We are not alone. From Thomas Reed, the large craft that was highlighted pretty well in Unsolved Mysteries and why we saw it so early. Let's see.
The totality of your story. So maybe you, if you wouldn't mind giving just a little bit of of your background and your experience with what we call UFOs.
Sure. I guess it starts with my mother used to have a 1960s diner up in the Berkshires, and it wasn't too far from Sprague Electric, which ended up making the goodwill message that was left on the moon, and GE, and so on and so forth.
Okay, I want to say this before we continue on this for another 30 seconds or so. Every time somebody comes on TV and they want to talk about aliens, like the guy from Ancient Aliens, he's got the crazy hair. If his hair was done nice, it would be so much more credible. You've got a guy talking about a UFO story. He's got big glasses and a hat. I understand who he is, and I respect his story completely. But just dress professionally. It just sounds more professional, looks more credible. Back to it. I'm going to believe his story because I believe it's true. I just wanted to say that because it's something I've thought every time I see these guys. And I'm like, come on, put on a suit. Put on something without the big glasses and looking funny. All right.
And so they were primarily my mother's customers. And so when we had our first sighting in 1967, it made the newspapers. And so that conversation started to be a topic within those customers. Yeah, there it is. Eating in our family's diner. And of course, the Berkshires, let me back up. The Berkshires had a lot of activity. It wasn't just one and done. And so those conversations became, I guess, in some ways, fueled the idea of leaving the goodwill message on the moon by Buzz Aldrin, with Apollo 11. And so some of that idea is credited back to my mother's diner. But with what happened in 69, which is the one everyone pretty much talks about, even though 67 actually made the newspapers, it was a holiday. And there must have been, 250 witnesses, I think they say, that saw this craft or these spheres, if you will, over the Sheffield area. And they were moving in from like Pittsfield and Springfield towards Sheffield and Connecticut. And so we were going on a shortcut home, and we kind of ran right into it. And we came over this old rickety bridge, and my grandmother was the first to notice that there was like a round sphere that was rising from the banks of the Housatonic River. And then my brother was looking to the right. He saw what looked like another sphere off to the right side of the bridge. And so we kind of split them. One stayed low, one rose. And the one that rose, it was like crisp, like a cue ball. It was bright. It was self-illuminating, and it shot these rods of light into the water. And so we kept going, and that one rose up and kind of went in the direction of our car. And then my mother was like, what is that? So she pulls off to the side of the road where there's this waiting area, if you will, for like utility trucks or something like that. And so we were looking for this white sphere. And at that point, what my mother first saw was this large craft that was highlighted pretty well in Unsolved Mysteries. And why we saw it so easily is that first it was like 100 yards in size. And it wasn't shiny and polished. It was pretty much like a turtle shell.
And there's so many stories out there. Like the reason why I believe in aliens is I was like 10, maybe 11 years old. My mom, my twin sister, my little brother were all driving in a car. We lived in Oak Forest, south suburb of Illinois, like Chicago, way south, back when I was a little bit younger. And we're driving, and like a plane flew over us, but it was so low you could see the bottom of it, absolutely no noise. And it was just perfectly silent. And we were like, what was that? We thought something was going to hit the top of the car. And we just watched it slowly, like, cruise back through and come back over, completely silent. And like ever since then, I'm like, we can't be alone. And that's one of the things that changed my entire viewpoint on it, because there was no other explanation. I mean, it could have been a military test craft, whatever, but on the south side of Chicago, not likely. I don't know. But congressional Republicans are jumping on this momentum, claiming they've been fighting for this transparency all along. Representative Nancy Mace says tonight President Trump is directing full disclosure of UAP and UFO files. In October, I wrote to the Department of Defense, Central Intelligence Agency, National Security Agency, and the Department of National Intelligence, demanding exactly that. The truth belongs to the American people. Inside of her letter, she is thanking Secretary Tulsi Gabbard and a bunch of others for their actions, and then she is demanding a full release and accountability. With, I think it was co-signed by... she was addressed to Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, all those agencies we representative from her office, from the House Armed Services Committee. They are not playing games on this. And if this was ever a time for it to happen, it should be now. So with officials' disclosure coming, UFO researchers worldwide are highlighting their best evidence to support the revelations. I can't wait to see what the government has. You know, everybody's got these little shaky cell phone videos and stuff. I want to see what the Jets got. I want to see if our high-powered electronics can do. From Chupacabra, this UFO video from Istanbul, Turkey was filmed in 2008, and some argue it's the best video of its kind. Researcher Roger Lear was there when it was filmed. He described exactly what happened and what kind of lens was used.
There is a video from 2008. It certainly is one of the best videos we've ever seen close up of what purports to be a UFO. Do you know anything about that one? It's supposed to be from Istanbul, Turkey.
There's a video which is called a Comburgus video, which is a close-up of a craft. In fact, so close that you can see the occupants. It is 100% real, and I was there as that was filmed. We were on the beach and filming out over the water. The camera that we were using had a 400 millimeter lens on it and an electronic doubler. So as we pushed on the craft, it got more clear and more clear and more clear. And when we centered on it, those are the shots that became famous. Also, I think the audience would like to know that footage was taken by the Cirrus UFO organization to a university in Istanbul, and their optical physicists went over that with a fine-tooth comb, and it was on all the major television broadcasts in Turkey that that was the real McCoy. There was no faking, there was no trickery of the camera. It talked about the reflected light off of the craft, which was coming from the full
swamp
moon,
gas and lights from Venus.
The areas where you see the occupants are some kind of a backlighting.
So there was some conjecture regarding that. I think it's the TR-3B that the United States military has. It's like a big giant flying triangle with a big light in the middle. That could have been one of the early iterations of it. And our military has some pretty incredible technology that we don't talk about. The evidence keeps mounting as experts verify more compelling UFO footage from around the globe. From Earth Curated, a pilot from Colombia at an altitude of 12,500 feet filmed footage that's widely regarded as the greatest UFO recording to date, and experts have confirmed it is genuine. Let's see. I remember when that video came out. I don't know if you guys saw, it was like a little orb that flew past his cockpit window. Yeah, there it was. That's a screenshot from it. And who knows who that is? It could be us. It could be the people in Antarctica. It could be aliens. It could be from underwater bases. It could be who knows. Now we're seeing the betting markets react. Traders are putting real money on whether aliens will actually be confirmed. From Polymarket, breaking: Trump orders declassification of all evidence of aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and unidentified aerial phenomena. 21% chance they're confirmed. And I think this was from... This might be earlier in the day or from yesterday. It's possible it could have been a screenshot that was used from a different date. But it was like 84% when I looked at about 2 o'clock today. So it's 3.25 million trading volume. That's going to go way higher. Even with Trump's order, Congress has been blocked from these files before. The big question is whether presidential power can break through. He is the ultimate arbiter of what is classified or declassified. And we have Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, one of the champions of this movement, said Congress has already been denied access to the UFO files. So the real question now is whether a Trump-led disclosure changes that. Let's see.
I do not want to do a complete 180 here and talk about UFOs, UAPs, because UFOs used to be the talk of conspiracy theories. Now, really not so much. You participated in the House Oversight Committee's UAP hearing on Wednesday. What was your biggest takeaway? What did you learn that shocked you the most?
Well, fun note, did you know that Matt Gaetz, one of the founding members of the UAP caucus here in Washington, is now going to be the AG? Mike Waltz is now the National Security Advisor, also gavelled in to come to the UAP hearings. So, and then Marco Rubio has been a big advocate for disclosure, and he's now the Secretary of State. And so I think exciting things for our country in that regard. But, look, I've always looked at it through a scientific lens and perspective. When you have many people coming forward from the State Department, from NSA, from different government agencies, from the military, stating that UAPs are real, and then you have this aspect of technological advancements. For us, it is a national security issue to ensure that we know what's happening, but also, too, I think it's silly from a mathematical perspective and also a religious perspective to think that human beings are the only creation that God did create. And so, as you know, we have a big galaxy, and there's many galaxies out there. And so to put it in perspective, do I think we're alone? No. Am I very curious? Yes. Has it been fun to kind of help tailor and conduct these committees? Absolutely. And I think we're going to continue to push forward with more committees here into the 119th Congress. But what I will state is yesterday, was I a little bit disappointed in some of the responses from the witnesses? Yes, we got some great stuff. But, I'm not interested in hearing about people's books. I'm interested in hearing about whether or not people can answer the questions, because we are trying to get this into the archive so that people have access to the information. And so I wish there was a little less pitching and more talking.
So where are you going to push this issue next? What do you think is the biggest question that you want an answer to?
For me specifically, I always like to look at the evidence previously and then also kind of doing follow-up on what's happening. Having Waltz over as the National Security Advisor and then Rubio as the Secretary of State and now Matt as the Attorney General, I'm going to be asking if they have access to files that were previously denied. So that's next on the roster. It helps having a Rolodex that has a lot of people in a lot of important positions now at the head of state.
And it's crazy that the entire Trump administration pretty much is on board with this. After Trump said that tweet out, Pete Hegseth sent out a message, saluting, saying, "At your request, sir, we will be doing this immediately." But she talked about technology boom after the Roswell crash in the 1940s. The SR-71 Blackbird, which just came up in the chat. For those of you that don't watch the live show, make sure you catch us live. I'm trying to read, and Gary does too. The SR-71 was from the 1960s. That's 65 years ago, and it's still one of the most fastest airplanes ever. We have things that are so technologically advanced from that, we probably won't know about it for another 30 years. They only declassified the SR-71 in the late 80s or early 90s, and we didn't even know that existed. Imagine what else we know about it. They've been hiding it. We may even have space fleets or something crazy like that. The Obama connection runs deep. Former Trump officials are now explaining how Obama's slip-up reveals the classified nature of this information. From Benny Johnson, former Trump White House press secretary Sean Spicer, I just saw him a few weeks ago at the White House, says Obama slipped up when he revealed the existence of aliens, then immediately tried to change what he said by saying by bringing up Area 51. Anybody that has dealt with classified information, you don't get into stuff like this. Let's see what they say.
Can I take this in a very interesting, different direction?
Please.
What people are missing in this whole, and this is just where my brain goes, because I tend to break things down logically and what got us here, right? So Obama's on this podcast and he gets asked, is there alien, right? That was the question. Okay, so break this down. What is his response? Yes, period. Now, if you're asking me, do you guys have it? Let's play this. I want you. I don't know if your team can do the sound right away, but I want you to listen to this because this is what's getting missed in the dialogue. It's not that he's just pontificating, right? Listen to how he says his answer, okay? Because it says yes, then period, and then he pivots to Area 51 as if he's like, but if you're talking about the location. We weren't talking about the location. We're asking fundamentally, are there aliens? So can we play that?
Of course.
It's at Dulles. It's at other places.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. Okay. There's no underground facility.
What about the deep underground military bases?
They're real, but he didn't say, look, I can't discuss that, or I haven't seen anything. He says, yes, but I haven't seen them. As if, okay, well, like, you know, I haven't seen a pile of gold, but I know it's real, right? So it's like, yes, it's real, but that was telling, because it wasn't like, look, anyone who's dealt with classified information, and I've been around this now 30 years, you don't get into stuff like that. You obfuscate. You say, look, I can't discuss whether that's real or not, or obviously, you know, I'd access. I mean, this isn't the first rodeo that he's had with feeling something at that level. And again, sometimes people just overlook the obvious, which is he didn't obfuscate. He answered that in the affirmative. Yes, but they're not at Area 51. Okay, I didn't even ask that. Why are you bringing that up? He literally said the quiet part out loud. And then Trump in his response, and again, I brought this up on my show, The Huddle, this morning, and people kind of mocked it. But remember what Trump said, and this was so beautiful on Air Force One. He said, I can't believe he said that. That's classified. Obama just said something that he wasn't supposed to say. And he put himself in a very, very bad situation. And Trump said, so I'll have to declassify it. He didn't. Trump, again, Obama set himself up for this. And I'm just saying that it's really funny because I know everyone in D.C. wants to dismiss it. But go back to what he actually said. Yes, but. And I think that was the big tell.
So he's went out there, gave out classified information. And again, I think this is all in relation to the Epstein file. They have to do something about it because the information's so bad. They just arrested a prince of England. So they're trying to distract people. Whether or not it's going to come out as true or not true or whatever, don't know. But I want to know about the technology. I want to know about the advancements. I want to know if we're alone in the universe. I mean, God's grand plan for the human race and the people and the entire universe can't just be about our one little planet. He thinks much bigger than that. The most powerful aspect of this story, Trump isn't just asking nicely. He's ordering the full disclosure. No more games, no more heavily redacted pages with everything blacked out. Although images online have released of the first aliens, and they are black squares in the sky. Those are hilarious. Make sure you look those up. No more bureaucratic stonewalling. The American people funded these programs with their tax dollars, and Trump is saying you deserve to know what you paid for. This could be the moment that everything changes. And this is exactly why we needed Trump back in office. Now, not only has he taken the courage to take on the deep state's most closely guarded secrets, shut down NSA ID, and then drag everything else he can into the sunlight, the establishment decades hiding this information from us, the American people. But Trump is giving you back what's rightfully yours, the truth. Whether we rediscovered alien technology or documented contact with non-human intelligence or just decades of government incompetence, Americans deserve transparency. So do you think Trump's UFO disclosure will finally reveal what the government is hiding from us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're down there, check out the Next News merchandise shop for gear that shows you're ready for the truth.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.